Hey platform, it's Rowan. Today we're going to do something that we haven't actually done in a while on the channel, and that is, as you can probably tell from the title, a book tag. I came across this tag earlier today on Book Break's channel, and I just thought, you know what? Combining books and food together in one tag, what's not to love? All of the questions in this tag have something to do with food, autumn, books, or some combination of the three. So even though Penguin Platform is a Penguin YouTube channel and Book Break is run by Pam Macmillan, I thought I would put our bitter rivalry aside for this one tag video. Just kidding. Hey Emma, this tag is really good. If you want to take part in this tag, I've left all the questions as well as a link to the original video in the description. So question number one, what are the autumnal drinks or snacks that you have while reading? So it's not really cold autumn yet, it's still a little bit hot outside, so when it gets colder I do love a hot chocolate, just curled up, nice little armchair, cozy, little jumper on, reading with your hot chocolate. Not been cold enough for that yet, so I have instead been drinking bubble tea. I bought a load of boba and have been making my own bubble tea. And it's amazing. Can highly recommend. Best purchase of lockdown. And in terms of something to eat, I have a massive sweet tooth, so maybe like a gingerbread cookie is quite a nice autumnal treat, or it's gotta be like Galaxy or some other kind of indulgent chocolate. Question number two, show off your most autumnal book stack. Now, I kind of went around my room and tried to find different books which had a tie to autumn in some way, and I ended up picking out a lot of more horror books for Halloween, but I think we're going to try and do a video for Halloween that will maybe have some of those as recommendations. So instead I went with just the colour palette of like reds and oranges and yellows. I stupidly put this stack on the other side of the room. Give me a second, I'll go get it. Ta-da! I'm going to leave links in the description to all the books seen in this video, but I'm very quickly going to run through them so you can see the covers. So this one has the classic red kind of vintage spine, and it's Ruby Fruit Jungle by Rita Mae Brown. Book number two in the stack was The Little Book of Loka by Mike Viking. This book has such cute illustrations on the front, not necessarily autumnal, but we went with the colour scheme. The third book was The Last by Hannah Jameson. This kind of ticked both the Halloween and the colour box, so I let it slide through. The next one's kind of a fun one. It is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus, but it is very specifically the ARC or proof copy of it, because obviously the one that you probably have if you bought it from a shop does not look like this, kind of yellow, but it's a really cool front cover. It's got a nice little kind of hint at what's inside. Next is Simon vs. the Homo sapiens Agenda by Becky Abertali. Another red cover. This is kind of fun because they did a tie-in cover with the film, but rather than changing it to be like a photo from the film, they changed this to Love, Simon, so people who are familiar with the film could find the book and vice versa. Next is an absolute classic. This one's a little bit worse for wear because I've had it since I was a kid, and it's Artemis Fowl by Owen Colfer, which has this, I mean, classic, super shiny front cover. Second to last book in the stack is Ian McEwan's Solar. Big hefty boy, big hardback. And finally for this question, we have this intense graphic red cover for Naomi Alderman's The Power. Question number three, show off books with food on the cover. I actually had a disappointing lack of books that were like novels or weren't, you know, like actual cookbooks with food on the cover. So I found a couple, but quite a few of these are going to be actual recipe books. So we're going to start off with Flavor by Ruby Tandau. It has her eating food on the front, and then on the back, I'm pretty sure these are her lamb flatbreads, which I'm actually going to try and cook later on this week. Then, because how could I not, we have Nigella with so many baguettes, so many of them. This is Nigella Lawson's Feast. In a lot less of a delicious front cover with food on, we've got Margaret Atwood, The Handmaid's Tale, and these pears on the tree at the top. Couple more cookbooks now. We have the Tasty Ultimate Cookbook, that classic from above tasty BuzzFeed look. Ooh, I don't think I'd properly looked at the back before, but that looks like freaking delicious cake. And then last recipe book is this Vegan Comfort Classics, and they have loads of amazing looking recipes on the back as well. And finally, I managed to find another novel with books on the front cover. It's the classic Midnight's Children by Salman Rushdie, which has these beautiful chutneys in jars on the front. Number four, skim through your current read and try and find a reference to food, and then say, I guess, whether you would like to eat that food or not. So I am currently reading Run Rebel by Manjeet Man. So I'm actually reading this as like a proof or an ARC copy, so it's not how it normally looks, and I'm gonna have a quick flick through and see if I can find some references to food. Nearly the first thing I flicked to is actually, so this is a novel in verse, so there's lots of kind of poetry that makes up the novel itself, and this one is literally just called Breakfast, so it's on page 169. I will read. 1 Weetabix, 1 teaspoon of sugar, milk, half a banana, 1 cup of sweet chai, pour me some tea, make me toast, put cheese on it, hurry up. Ooh. Well, Weetabix, 1 spoonful of sugar. That is how I take my Weetabix, with milk, so that sounds great. Don't like bananas. Sweet chai sounds amazing. And cheese on toast. So I take the cheese on toast, the sweet chai, and the Weetabix. That sounds like a great breakfast, to be honest. But we'd leave the half a banana. Sorry, I just got distracted and just kept reading this poem. I've not even got to this bit in the book yet. I need to stop. I will say, if you want to see what the actual front cover looks like, how beautiful is that? Question number 5, what is the nicest meal you've ever read about in a book? That's actually really tough. I think I'm gonna have to go with maybe a bit of a cliche, but you know what? We love the classics. Bruce Bogtrotter's cake, chocolate cake from Matilda. I maybe wouldn't be able to finish that on my own, but to share, I feel like it's just sounds so decadent and amazing. And especially when you're a kid, it's just the most magical thing in the world to have a cake that is like the size of a human being, basically, in your imagination. And the final question, number 6, have you ever made a book-themed recipe? Yes, I actually made multiple book-themed recipes at a Great Gatsby, like 1920s inspired murder mystery party that I threw for my birthday many years ago. And that was a lot of fun. I might have a look at some other people's responses to this tag to see if there are any book-themed recipes that maybe I should be trying in the future. So finally, I need to tag some people. So I am going to tag Jean and Joel. And I specifically, there is a book that was probably meant to be in the stack because it is also beautiful autumnal colours on the front that I didn't include. So I'm going to recommend that one instead. It is Cursed, which is, you may have seen on Netflix the first season, but it is essentially like a retelling of the Arthurian legend. Within the book itself, there's a lot of classic fantasy food type references, and there's one in particular which is their mouths watered as they walked through a warm cloud of baking bread. The baker's wife had set out a table of fresh king's loaves beside another table of brie tarts and spice cakes. So I'm gonna say cooking and eating spice cakes while reading Cursed sounds like an absolutely delightful experience. So that's the tag. If there are any other book tags that you would love to see us do on platform, then please let me know. And let us know if you end up doing this tag. We would love to watch your videos. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to platform for more bookish content.